Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The article that I want to discuss in this video has to do with Ukraine and an Ukrainian governor who I think creates more panic than necessary, but I'm not in the territory, so I cannot assess the real situation. But nevertheless, let's see what's going on here. This article comes from Los Angeles Times, July 5th, 2022, and this is the title. Ukrainian governor urges evacuation of 350,000 Ukrainians. The government of the last remaining eastern province, partly under Ukraine's control, urged his more than 350,000 residents to flee as Russia escalated its offensive, and air alerts were issued across nearly the entire country. Well, here you get this idea. As Russia escalates its offensive, that means if you tell your residents to get out, that means those guys are coming like that. Zoom. So it says here that Governor Pavlo Kirilenko said that getting people out of Donetsk province is necessary to save lives and to enable the Ukrainian army to better defend towns from the Russian advance. Really? You defend them before they get in towns. Why do you just, all of you go in towns? All the major fights in Ukraine were within the premises of towns and cities. Why is that? You defend better over there with civilians around you, and you expect the Russians not to use artillery because you are within the premises of a town? Is that how it is? I don't like that at all. I don't like that those guys have to. Anyway, let's continue with this. And I'm quoting, the destiny of the whole country, I heard this before, will be decided by the Donetsk region, Kirilenko told reporters in Kramatorsk, the province's administrative center and home of the Ukrainian military regional headquarters. I heard the destiny of the whole country. I thought it was determined in Severodonetsk. That's what I first heard. So if we lose that, we're done. Kiev is up for grabs. And now this is it. This is it. I mean, I understand the game here, but I'm just saying that everything now, if you have a little another town is going to be there, it's going to determine the outcome of the fight. Probably, he knows best, right? And I'm quoting again. Once there are less people, we will be able to concentrate more on our enemy and perform our main tasks, Kirilenko said. The governor's call for residents to leave appeared to represent one of the biggest suggested evacuations of the war. Although it's unclear whether people will be willing to safely able to flee, according to the United Nations Refugee Agency, more than 7.1 million Ukrainians are estimated to be displaced within Ukraine, and more than 4.8 million refugees left the country since Russia's invasion started on February 24th. Well, the thing is, I thought that the Russians are liberating these areas. So if they liberate these areas, they liberate them from Ukrainian army because they have Russians living there. So I don't know if they say the population is 350, right? The residents, total population is 350. Why would the Russians even bother to conquer that if that is mainly populated by Ukrainians, right? We say, well, the resources and strategic locations. Okay, I get that, but I don't believe that those 350 are Ukrainians, all of them. I would like to hear a census or something, a proportion. Tell me how many are what, how many claim they are what, and you're gonna find out probably that 80% are Russians and 20% Ukrainians. I'm just saying, I would not be surprised. Let's put it this way: I would not be surprised if we would find that out of those 350 thousands, 280 are Russians, and the rest would be Ukrainians. I understand the Ukrainians to a certain extent leaving, but I don't know if the things are as bad. I don't know if they're as bad. I think they're not. And I'm going to explain why. As it was in Second World War when the Soviet army was pushing back and was coming towards Berlin. And I remember the stories from old people in Romania talking about how female and men were on the front, mainly fighting them, and then they whatever. So nevertheless, the women, they were telling how they ran away from the coming Soviet army, because what they were doing, they were raping, killing, destroying, stealing, anything that could be bad. That if you look, for instance, at I don't use movies as reference, but I know that some of my audience might be watching movies and could maybe make a direct connections. I would rather read books about this subject and look at the commissars from the Second World War, and you're going to find that there are many Zelenskys in commissariat, including Kaganovich, and not only. You can, but nevertheless, so they wrote, including this person who wrote this pamphlet, they say, rape and something like pillage, um, proud Soviet soldier, the proud German women, and so on, explicitly like that. You can find it. It's not like a, and they're proud of it. And it was written by one of these guys, one of the commissars in charge with propaganda, in which were all not all, most of them were those kinds. Nevertheless, they were coming because what did the Soviets perceived is they were attacked, almost destroyed by the Germans, together with their helpers, which were countries that were allied with them, which was Romania, was Hungary, was Italy, but Italy did not participate, and other volunteers that were from different countries, including in SS. There were Germans, there were obviously in Arabs, there were British SS, there were American SS, there were French SS. I think the last battalion or the forces that defended Hitler in the bunker over there was, I think, a French SS, French or Dutch, I think French SS contingent. So nevertheless, after you're almost destroyed by the Germany by Wehrmacht with its helpers, and then you destroy and you come back, you think of revenge like there's no tomorrow. And probably, not probably, certainly during a war, the worst from the human beings comes out, and it's more or less. So it says here it's important to evacuate as many as possible. He warned Tuesday morning, adding that shelling damaged 40 houses on Monday. So the Russians are also shelling now before they invade further. It says the Ukrainian military withdrew its troops Sunday from the city of Luhansk to keep them from being surrounded. Russia's, I think it's Lishansk, but here it says Luhansk. Well, maybe it is, I don't know. Russian defense minister and Putin said the city's subsequent capture put Moscow in control of all of Luhansk, one of two provinces that make up the Donbass. Well, what are they going to do? Retreat? So I don't know if the Russians right now will come and do the same thing that the Soviets did in 44 and so on, 44 and 45. But nevertheless, I don't think it's the same, but it's war. So when you're shot at, you're cold, you're hungry, you want to go home, you miss your family, or maybe your newborn child and so on. You have to fight here for some crazies. And you say, man, I want to go home. So you just get everything done. And you don't follow how should I put the decent quote unquote rules of war. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.